Hi there, this is James Birchall, and this is another Coffee Confidential. Today's guest is Greg Woodruff, and Greg is running for Mayor of Burlington. Come on in. You found it okay then?
Sorry?
You found it okay then?
I did find it. It's easy because you have the license plate and it's a smart car.
It's a smart car.
It's as advertised. Right. So here we can do like a little tour of Aldershot. You can see one of my complaints here. So you see this development up here on the left?
Yeah, they will be able to as we go by.
Yeah. So you'll see in a second. That used to be a Mercedes dealership.
I know.
Now,
that's where I got this little car service.
I'm not complaining about the small businesses that are in there now. I don't anybody think you want to appreciate. But it doesn't have the commercial capacity of a Mercedes dealership. This to the right here used to be a Zeller's, and then the one over there used to be Canadian Tire.
Right.
Right? And it's now replaced with things that don't replace that capacity. You see what I'm saying? When
you say capacity for the peanut gallery,
right,
what do you mean?
I mean the number of people going there, the types of products and services it offers to the community, and the small offices is just not the same as a department store or a hardware store.
Tell me what you mean.
Okay, so what got me into this whole mess in the first place, and what my basic objection to what's going on is that you have a lot of development being done and changes done to the city, right?
Right.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
So to me, when I see that redevelopment, when I see those things come in, I want what I'm going to call an additive process. I want to add things to our city, right?
Yeah.
And I want to add things local to us. Wherever you are, you should have as many things local to you as possible. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if you go and you take out a hardware store, the things that you get at a hardware store don't suddenly go away. Like, you're still going to need the same things that you needed at the hardware store, right?
Yep.
But now that hardware store is farther away. So you're going to waste time, energy, etc., and your community is not as full of things. And to me, the purpose of the city is to get as many things, as many different things, as much variety and diversity as close to you as possible. And so when you start a development process, and I see those things being removed, I go, aha, what we have here is a negative process. Things aren't coming into this community, they're going out, right? Like, the things that you used to be able to walk to are gone, and they're replaced with condos and small offices, right? And this has been the complaint for 6 years now. This is not a new complaint, right? Case in point, so there's our last home hardware, okay? That's the last hardware store in Aldershot. That will soon be replaced by more condos. Yeah. And so I think it's a negative trend. I think it's inspired by the city, and we need to change a bunch of things to stop that trend. That's the long and the short of one of the complaints anyway.
All right, what would you like?
I'll take a medium latte.
Morning. Coffee? That's the black coffee?
Got it.
Awesome. I get the back one.
Okay, fair enough.
And you get the closest. Being the guest.
Very good, very good.
So,
good hospitality.
Very much. There you go.
You go to the States, you'll be like, oh, my coffee does not fit in here.
So what do you think the impact to, the average person is going to be?
Okay, here's going to be the impact. So the plan, the Grow Bold plan in general, is to put 100,000 people in about 200 to 400 high-rise buildings pretty much everywhere. That's the plan. It's to put 30,000 people around the Aldershot Go station alone, minus all the different mobility hubs.
Yeah.
Okay? So that will put a huge number of cars on the street for sure. They're all bringing cars.
Well, this is Canada. You can't really walk anywhere.
Well, you know what? You can't really walk anywhere. Is if that statement is true, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have a serious problem, because as I said, I was running around 2014. I said, Burlington's transportation plan is no more complicated than walk, bike, or stay home. Mm-hmm. You can also use the bus, but the bus is in the same traffic as everything else, so it doesn't really help you that much, right?
True.
And that is the transportation plan. The idea is that if you conceptualize the city as a place that holds people,
yep,
and you say, okay, what stops us from putting 100,000 more people in here? Well, first of all, we're in a room for single-family houses. Okay, let's put them in high-rises. What's the second problem? Oh, there's no way the road system will work. There's just no way. And James Ridge had a line. He said, if you put 50,000 more cars in here, it's going to be a wild scene. It's not like I'm making this up, right?
Yeah.
Or there's another theory in urban planning, and it's called induced demand. And the theory of induced demand is basically that you build something so people use it. So you build roads and provided them cars, and people use that. But there's no reason that you couldn't have just built trains and had sidewalks, which we have sidewalks, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
And had people use that. And and here's the real thing people have to understand. If you believe in that mentality, if you believe that in psychology, and someone comes to you and says, okay, we have a capacity problem on this road. Okay, we need to increase the capacity of this road. That person, that expert, that person in leadership will say, no, that's a mistake. And you'll say, well, why is that a mistake? Because if you increase the capacity of that road and you fix it for people,
Yeah.
more people will just use it. And then it will re-choke with people, and you haven't solved any of the sort of global problem of congestion.
So what's the suggestion according to you?
Okay, so
Or the solution rather?
So the one thing that I propose that I think we need in Burlington is we need a 6-floor residential limit. That's the cap of residential buildings.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of reasons behind that. So the first reason is the 6th-floor buildings won't go over the tree line. So you'll still have the sky and it'll still look like a bunch of trees.
Okay.
Right? If you make the buildings high, they cast a lot of shadows, they go over the tree line, they can change the complexion of the place hugely.
Yeah.
The 6th-floor residential limit is in compliance with the letter of the law. And I mean, if you want to get into a difference between me and the other candidates, it's one of the things centers around this whole mobility hub concept, right? Because some of the people are like, well, we'll protect the downtown. The downtown is an important, community, and we want the lower heights there, so it's got a more livable feel and a more sort of, pedestrian-oriented enjoyment, right?
So what are you trying to tell me then? What is the bottom line to the average person? What are we going to feel?
The bottom line, listen, the bottom line to the average person is Burlington is executing a plan which depends on you changing how you live your life. It depends on that. It depends on you saying, oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to bike someplace, or I'm going to have to figure out how to walk someplace, or I'm going to figure out how to bus someplace. That's a requirement of the plan.
So you're saying that the plan is going to ultimately interfere with our ability to drive places?
Absolutely. No, everyone, that's unquestioned by anyone, everyone. You can't increase the population by Burlington in 100,000 people.
What's the time frame on that?
Well, and this is a big question, because you can kind of see that not only is the line increasing, but the rate of the line is increasing as well, right? We're getting ever increasing growth, and the rate is sort of increasing too, right? So the timeline is based on a lot of things. It's based on who you elect to council, right? You could get people who kind of slow it down a little bit. You get people that turbocharge it.
What are we talking? Right? 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, next year?
You gotta, you don't know. It's not next year. Okay, so we can say, so if you want to put brackets on it, we can say safely it's not next year. Okay?
Probably a 1 or 2 terms in office.
It could be, well,
given the amount of time it would take to build those buildings and bring that many people in.
You can build the buildings, and well, here's why we don't know, because your question is why I know. Because up until now, there has been a very slow process of going before council, right? Because none of the laws allow you to build these high rises, right?
Okay.
So in order to get them through, you have to have council approve them, right? And that approval process is a long process, costs money, consulting. You have to, when these developers are down in City Hall arguing, those 5 guys are getting paid, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very expensive process arguing through this. I go through council and I get a specific vote. See, what's going on right now is that none of the buildings that people are proposing are in compliance with the zoning or the law.
And you're talking about some very complicated subject matter. So the individuals who are going to package this up into an easy soundbite so they can argue with their friends over a beer on a Friday night and go, oh, so-and-so doesn't care about our town. I completely understand that.
I get it. But
how do you deal with that?
Well, here's how you can pack it down. Are you planning to radically change your life? Because if you're not planning to radically change your life, the new Burlington's not going to work for you.
Okay.
It depends if that's important to you or not. If it's not important to you, then, it doesn't matter.
All right.
And I get entirely what you're saying. What you're saying is, how can you take someone who's...
people don't care until they care.
That's exactly right.
And they won't care until it's in their face and their hair's on fire and somebody's knocking at their door. Up until then, you've got an uphill battle.
Absolutely. You absolutely have an uphill battle. And what I'm trying to do is, if anybody listening to this gets the basic impression, is there a 1% chance that guy's right? is there a 1% chance that this may be, you know, that this development on fire is having a negative effect on my community?
So what is it you actually want? I mean, you want to stop that level of development, you want to cap it at 6 buildings, and you want to put a limit on the number of buildings that could be put in the downtown core, and you want...
I wouldn't limit the number of buildings. Because of a whole bunch of variety of reasons, I think the building height cap will solve a lot of problems in and of itself.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, who you are. So, what's your day job right now? What do you do?
So I run a company that builds web applications for other companies.
Okay.
If you come to me and you say, oh, I've got this side hustle thing and there's videos, but I want, and then you're describing, it's not a website, there's some kind of application you want.
Okay.
Right? And then I, you know, will figure out how much it costs to build that application and then sell it to you. So that's what I do.
What's the name of your company?
It's called Comexton.
Okay.
But it doesn't really, it's basically mostly word of mouth, so it doesn't really have a big public profile. Just somebody knows somebody that I did a project for.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
Come over, so that's what I do.
How much political experience do you have? Because you're running for the top dog position, and you're going from running your own company to applying for that, and you're promoting and presenting a lot of ideas that a lot of people are going to be looking at and going, what's he been smoking? So there's a bunch of questions in there. One of them is, you know, there's that, but how do you justify, how are you going to explain to people, you know, yeah, I'm the man for the job? Well,
this is the thing. If you go look at my website, you talk about simple, right?
Yeah.
It just got 3 things. What do we need to do? We need to keep taxes no higher than inflation. 2, we got to have a 6th-floor residential limit. The third one was traffic light synchronization. One thing I do want is I want everybody who's voting to sit there and go, okay, what policies are these? And this goes for the mayor and it goes for all the, you know, the ward councilors too.
Yeah.
What concrete policy is this person selling, right? Because what everyone falls into that doesn't have concrete policies is they say, well, I have experience, I have leadership, I will consult the public, and the minute you elect me, the policies will be formed, but not now. I'm like, okay, well, lead us now. You know what I mean? Use all of these attributes, which you just profess to have, and tell us what the problem is now and what we should do now. Not once you're elected. Exactly.
How about you tell me quickly, what is it you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I do CrossFit. I play Ultimate Frisbee. I can do some drone racing. Have you ever seen a race drone?
I do. I fly. I've got a big drone.
Okay, yeah. Have you seen a race drone?
I have.
Yeah.
Damn, those things are fast.
No, it's okay. It is a technology that people don't understand. Well, dude, that was an excellent.
It was fun.
Hopefully you got something workable there.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you, man.
Take it easy. Drive safe, all right?
I will.
Well, folks, that was Greg Woodruff. Interesting man, incredibly passionate about the issues surrounding Burlington with respect to, I guess, the upcoming election in October. Definitely, like all the candidates, you should take a closer look at their platform and what they're promising, and ultimately make up your own mind. Anyway, my name's James Burchell. This has been another Coffee Confidential. As I'm fond of saying, don't work hard, work smart. And until next time, bye-bye.